is that black men are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions and for their screw up. When they screw up, they're always pointing around at somebody else. But look, y'all, right? Black men are the first people to say, yeah, it's my fault, man.
Oh man, I don't know where he got that, but if it is true, that is crazy.
This research on black attitudes of black men, and one of the things is like the white people, the dominant group. One of the ways we justify being the dominant group is by ascribing negative characteristics to people who are below us. So one of the ways that I can justify being on top, if I'm on top, like let's imagine I'm on top, right? Is to imagine that, well, the people...
Students just leave class. No, I could be for anything.
On the bottom somehow deserve to be there. And then somehow I deserve to be here. Because I don't know how else to make sense of that, right? Like the divine sort of nature of being a king. And, you know, God ordained this, and God wanted this, and God this, and God that. So you come up with these stories. And one story that, historically speaking, white people have come up with regarding black and brown people, in particular Latinos, in particular Mexicans and Central Americans, and black Americans, black people, is that people, A, didn't want to work hard, or B, didn't take responsibility for their actions. They're always blaming somebody else. It's always somebody else's problem, and like, oh my God, and it's like, okay.
Wow. I want to know what made Dr. Richard say that. Because he's basically saying that people who are at the bottom, there's this trope that goes along with them, implying that they didn't work hard and implying that they deserve to be here. And that trope is given by people who are at the top. And in this in this discussion, people at the top is another word for white people. I have a question when it comes to that. How does a white person live their life and let's say they do make it to the top? How are they supposed to, agree with the premise of your statement? And the reason I'm asking is because if there's this automatic belief that white people are at the top, then if one grows up in poverty, and if one grows up and they weren't at the top and they had to climb their way to the top, and they do believe that anybody can get there, are they wrong for believing that? Are they only there because of their privilege? That's a real question. And what if you are a black person, or as you said, a Central American person who is also at the top economically? What would you tell them? What if you also agree that anybody can work hard and get there? Like, all I'm saying is there's a few holes in this statement, kinda. But anyways, let's continue.
Always somebody else. So putting blame elsewhere. So really interesting research that jumped out to me. There are two groups in the United States who are less likely to blame other people for their problems than any other groups. If they screw up, or when they screw up, it is their fault. Black men, and then Middle Eastern men and women. But black men, number one. So the story we have is that, like, oh man, black people, they're always blaming. Because what happens is, again, remember, down here, you're identifying the obstacles, right? What are the obstacles, right? Oh, the obstacle of like, well, look, you got to look at discrimination, you got to look at this, and you got to look at that, because if you're experiencing it, right, it's like you're going to be picking that stuff out. So the fact that black and brown people, in particular, blacks and Latinos, are very often picking out the obstacles, then white people say like, oh my God, you're always just talking about that. But the fact is, no. Black and brown people are also talking about lots of other things, but it just so happens that they're also talking about this because the dominant group, in this case white people, are so unwilling to really look at it, except liberal white people, right? So you see, this is a problem. No, hang on. Can every black man in the room stand up real fast? Every black man.
I'm about to stand up.
Look around the room. Here's the thing. The story we have is that black men are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions and for their screw-ups. When they screw up, they're always pointing around at somebody else. But look, y'all, right? Black men are the first people to say, yeah, it's my fault, man. Divine. How much time were you in prison?
Wow, man. I don't know where he got that, but if it is true, that is crazy, because as a black guy, I don't blame other people for my stuff. And honestly, I've never heard white people, I've never heard that phrase from white people saying that black people don't work hard. I've never heard that from a white person. So I guess to assign that to white people, I've never heard it. If you have heard it, you can send me the clips, but I've never heard that from a different race of people. The biggest thing that I hear is that the biggest problem that I hear is that because of diversity, equity, and inclusion, not the anything in that area, diversity, equity, inclusion, that's what they call it. It's like a simile for hiring people based off their skin color. I hear that that's unfair. And if you really think about it, it can be unfair if you look at people's skin color and hire them based off of that. And that builds a lot of resentment. But I've never heard that we don't work hard, or we don't work hard. But maybe I'm not tapped into the politics and stuff.
How long?
4 straight, 2 off and on.
Wait.
I
No.
did 4 straight.
4 straight?
In prison, and I did 2 off and on in juvie.
In juvie, and whose fault was it, man?
It was mine.
Yeah. Dude, you ask black men, it's their fault. Once in a while.
That's because in life, in this country specifically, we are very blessed to be here. And I don't say that, I don't take that lightly. We are very blessed to be here. America is one of the only places on this earth where you can have economic growth, meaning that you're not put into a caste system the moment that you are born. So when you have black men and we say, I'm recording, and we say,
My bad.
you good, that yeah, it's my fault if I don't get to this level. We're not saying that things aren't against us, or if you're even a different race, we're not saying that things aren't against you. I'm just saying that we have the ability to get there. Of course, you're going to face challenges. You always face challenges in life. Every person on earth faces a challenge, no matter what. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what age you are. You will face challenges. But that doesn't mean that someone is out to get me. I don't believe anyone's out to get me. It's just what it is.
How you're going to get a black, especially, look, if you're white, you might play somebody and be like, oh yeah, no, it's the white system and so on. But listen, man, white people, the group of people most likely to blame other people for their problems, the group most likely to blame other people, wealthier white men. So isn't this really amazing that we create this system whereby, like, wow, the whole world can like point at all these men and be like, oh yeah, well you're on the bottom, or you're not making it, or you're experiencing it, or you went to prison, whatever. Yes, because it's like, but you're blaming everybody else. So like, I don't have anything to do with this stuff, right? It's not my fault. It's not my problem. It's not about me. But in fact,
and what Dr. Richards is saying might be true. But here's the thing. And here's the problem with what he's saying. It's not even really a problem with what he's saying, but a problem with how people will interpret what he's saying. They're going to hear like wealthier white men, and they're going to take that and attribute it to any white man who makes over $80,000. And that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is wealthy white men, such as millionaire or billionaire white men. And it's not all millionaires or billionaires. That's not what I'm saying. What he's saying is that according to whatever facts he has, statistics, data, that's who is more likely to blame other people for their problems. But what I've noticed is that people will hear that, like, you see, he said white men are... No, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying at all. But people hear this data and they automatically begin to victimize themselves. You have to really dive deep into what he's getting at right now.
the reality is, look around, man. Dude, it's people looking more like me that are finding reasons why things happen to me. Something happened to me. So I don't know, man. This is just a really powerful image. I just want y'all to remember that. Remember this right here. And when you hear, you're watching the television or you're watching a talk show and you hear some black men talking about the system and the racist system and so on, that doesn't mean they're also not taking responsibility for stuff that happened to them. Because there is a racist system out there. But it also means we're looking at something else. Dudes, thanks for standing. Yeah.
Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Do y'all think there's a racist system out there? Do y'all think anything what he said has validity? Let me know in the comments, and I'll get back to y'all.